Hey there, everybody. Welcome on in. It is Tuesday. It's 9 o'clock Eastern, and you're watching me here live on Zero Hour, a Transformers podcast. I'm your host, Extra Zero, and I try to go over all of the Transformers news that I find in the week and discuss it, have some fun with it, and make you guys a part of the show. So if you're watching me here live on YouTube, welcome on in. Appreciate you. I'll be highlighting comments and things in the chat throughout the course of the evening. So if you are watching me live, don't be a stranger. Pop into that live chat right over there, and I'll be interacting with you. I want to know what you guys are thinking about what I'm talking about. If there's anything you're excited about, if you have any ideas. And sometimes I draw a blank and I'm like, oh, who's that supposed to be? What's that supposed to be? It's always good having a live chat when I get stuck with something like an obscure character. But yeah, if you are watching me, whether you're watching me live or on the replay, it'd be really awesome if you could smash that like button, because it does help me out in the algorithm, and the algorithm has been kind of rough lately. So, you know, it would be nice to, my original goal was to get up to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I've got 200 to go. Love to get monetized here. I know I've been dragging my feet on content, but I've got other stuff going on and a daughter on the way. So it's been, you know, a little bit of a challenge, but I do appreciate everybody that comes in and hangs out. This is not about getting monetized. It's about having fun. It's about having fun discussions. And just, you know, in general, I enjoy what I do here. So, you know, from the bottom of my heart, thanks to everybody that watches, be it live or on the replay. And if you are watching on the replay, drop some comments. I do get to the comments. And if you're not already subscribed, hopefully tonight's the night I earn your subscription. So consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell. And if you have it, the ability to hype up the video if you like what I'm doing here. But yeah, before we say hi to the chat and get into it, we'll knock something out, because we got to talk about this week's figure of the week. And this week's figure of the week's an interesting one. So I talked about this last week, and I have to shout him out because a good friend of mine, G Tony, gifted me an Omega Prime. He knew I was a big Prime collector, and he gifted one to a figure action viewer very graciously, and he wanted me to have one, as an Optimus Prime collector. He's like, you got to have it. So he got me an Omega Prime, and unfortunately, my Omega Prime came with the cracked abdomen. And, you know, when you get them all armored up, you don't see it. But I was curious how Hasbro was going to address it, whether they were going to send everything back. Well, I think everybody knows how they handled it, and I got my replacement Optimus Prime. So now I happen to have, because when you combine up Omega Prime, you're left with all of the armor for your, Optimus. It just, it just sits in base mode. But now that I have a spare Prime, I've got just the HasLab Optimus Prime all armored up and separate from Omega Prime. And I've been having a lot of fun. Like, I like the Omega Prime set, but I always liked this version of Optimus Prime. Again, in Japan, he was known as Super Fire Convoy in this mode, or Fire Convoy in the non-combined mode. And I absolutely love this figure. I love this redo of him. He doesn't have the electronics. I still do have an original Super Fire Convoy, and I'm going to have him just down as the core robot on the display. So I'll have the combined mode, or I'll have the Omega Prime, the Super mode, as well as the stripped down version. And the cool thing is that the stripped down version will have all the lights and sounds, and he'll be accessible. But, this is just a cool box. I still maintain, I wish that this was sold at brick and mortar retail. And I don't know why my camera's having issues with focusing. I wish this was sold at brick and mortar retail, because, again, like this series came out in the US in 2001. And I feel like a lot of the fans of that show now have disposable income. And if they saw Prime and Magnus, their childhood Prime and Magnus, they'd probably be inclined to get it. But, it is what it is. I've said my piece about the way they operate the HasLabs and how they do everything for the HasLabs. And I find it to be hit or miss. Like, I feel like if they do like a missing link Unicron, like a G1 style Unicron for HasLab, I think that would make sense. but doing stuff where it's especially like a Prime and a Magnus, to me, that just feels like, That said, when I did get this guy in hand, I'm again, thanks to G Tony, because I really do appreciate that he did this for me, and I do love this figure a lot. I don't love Hasbro's tactics, but they made a really, really good figure here, and it's just so much fun to mess with. And also now, let's see if I can get the backpack or not the backpack, the armor off. This is actually the one that's the replacement. So you can see here, there is no cracked abdomen. Now, I have not opened this up yet. I've heard various things about how they fixed it. But I'm like, I don't necessarily want to do any surgery on it. And I saw that, like, the way you get everything apart, you have to flex some plastic. So I was like, I don't want to do that to mine. I'm going to trust that the fixed one is fixed. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun revisiting this figure and actually not having to wear kid gloves messing with them or make the problem worse. I probably will also, when the DNA kit comes out, take the cracked one that I have, which is combined up, and I'll get that DNA part and fix that. So I'll have two pristine ones. But, other than that, really happy to have the replacement in hand and to have a complete Omega Prime, and then also the bonus of having the super one. So it just makes for a really, really good display. Granted, it's a little cramped on that RID shelf. I need to move some stuff around. I think I'm going to slim down the comic stuff to make room for some of the other stuff. But that's enough rambling. Let's say hi to chat, and then we'll get into convention news. First and foremost, we got Mario Roca hanging out saying, hello once again next year. Good to see you, Mario. Hope you're having a great evening. We've got Aquateki saying greetings all. Greetings to you, good sir. Mario coming back saying that there wasn't much revealed at NYCC because most of it was from SDCC. The only thing we saw new there were the timelines, the timeline subline, and the introduction of the Studio Series Comics subline. Yep. We'll be talking about those in just a bit here. We got Mega T-Rex all coming in saying, what's up, bots? Good to see you. We got Dick's Reactions. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome on back, saying woot. We've got John Graham of RB the Chief saying, sup, extra. Also, toys are for babies. They can be. They can be. Hopefully, when my baby gets here, she's not interested in my toys. We've got Princeton Phalanx saying hello. Good to see you, Princeton. And Mario coming in also saying that Hasbro giving us the replacement parts for Mega Prime is just exactly the same thing that the fans are doing, which is just, yeah, I mean, at least they addressed it. I hope, though, that people that I do know a couple people, and Ben from Ben's World of Transformers, he actually had sent in the whole, they requested he sent in the whole Optimus Prime component of his set, and he just got the cab back. So I hope they get that sorted for people, because that's kind of a mess. Oh, one thing I forgot to announce too is that this Saturday I'm going to be doing a show with Lance. So I mean, obviously you're here. It's been a month since we last did a video together. Last one we did was when he was in town, and we did it from my basement. But we're going to be doing a chill stream on Saturday. Really just hanging out and talking about things that we want to see in the Age of the Primes line, be it repaints or characters, kind of a wish list, just kind of a hangout with no real structure. So if you're around on Saturday, we'll probably be going live sometime after 10 Eastern. So always look forward to getting to hang out with Lance and getting to have those discussions as well. So that should be a good show. We'll get into some convention stuff here real quick. So Steel City Comic-Con is really, it's far away, but it's not. I'll be there Saturday, December 5th, because Peter Cullen and Frank Welker will be there. And, Peter is really getting up there in age. I did splurge to get the photo op with both of them. I really just wanted to meet Peter, but I am probably going to go in for the autograph as well. There's no tickets for autographs. It just seems like you go and get your autographs. I don't know if I'll be able to do that during the photo op or how they're going to handle it. But again, we're getting close to the convention, and he has not canceled. I understand that for TFCon Baltimore last year, he canceled, and it's hard to believe TFCon Baltimore was almost a year ago now. But my understanding was he canceled TFCon Baltimore due to health issues. So it's good to have him here. And if you are on the East Coast, I do recommend going, because again, no idea how long he's going to be doing these on the East Coast. And if Michael Bay's taking the helm of Transformers again, he's probably going to be in it, and he's probably going to be busy. And if he does anything, it's probably going to be on the West Coast. And with his, being in his later years and having some health issues, he's been a lifelong smoker. Opportunities to meet him out here may be slim to none. So I'm excited. I'm going to do the photo op again with him and Frank Welker, and also going to get an autograph from him. I waffled on the autograph, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the autograph. But yeah, it's going to be cool. Hopefully my wife is able to go as well, so she's going to be pretty heavily pregnant at that time. She's finally started to show, so I don't know whether she's going to go with me, or it's just going to be me going solo or dragging somebody along. But yeah, I will be there on the 5th. So if you're going to be there on the 5th, let me know. I'd love to run into anybody that's going to be there again. It's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I plan on going there probably from like noon, a little bit before noon, to probably the late afternoon. And again, depends on whether my wife's with me or not, because I imagine we'll look around a little bit, do the photo op, and I'm sure she's going to be tired if she goes with me. But really, my whole reason for wanting to go is just to meet Peter Cullen. So next up, we got TFCon news, and we got some new guests announced. So first up, we've got Joseph Kor, who was a writer on Transformers Prime. He's going to be there. He's going to be part of, I believe he's going to have a panel, but I don't know. I don't know that he's going to have a panel, but he's going to be there. So he'll probably be able to get autographs and photo ops. A lot of times they have writers there. They also have scripts available to sign and prints available to sign. So they're pretty cool that, TF Prime's getting some recognition and a lot of representation at the convention. We've also got Andrew Griffith, who was an artist on IDW on Lost Light, All Hail Megatron, Unicron, and the Robots in Disguise books. So he'll be there as well. They explicitly say he'll be doing signings, selling prints, and doing commissions there. There's a lot of artists do, so if you want him to draw something for you, you got an opportunity to get that. And I skipped ahead, I think. Nope, I'm in the wrong window. I'm in the wrong window. Also, we've got Rick Alvarez there, who was the creative manager, the former creative manager for Hasbro. He's going to be having a panel focused on the Binder of Revelation, which was part of the aligned continuity. And what's even cooler is that they're doing a fan design panel with Rick, so you can send in any Photoshop concepts or pictures or customs, and it looks like Rick is going to be showcasing some of those during that panel, so that's pretty cool fan engagement there. But the most exciting thing TFCon wise is we get a look at our very first exclusive for the convention. Now, I know MMC is going to probably have their Mega Octane there, which, pretty cool. We'll be able to finally complete that Assaultus Ruination set. But they're doing a, Fans Hobby at least, with the Chosen Prime, is doing a homage to G1 Skyquake. Now, this is a retool and repaint of Double Evil, but this looks to be pretty well done here. We get a full gallery of everything going on with and they're calling it Helmsman. And yeah, this looks pretty awesome, to be honest. Like I was always curious if they'd ever find a way to repaint their Overlord, their Double Evil figure. And here we get a pretty cool homage to Skyquake. It works in the jet mode, at least. You still have to do the the combination, but I do think this works quite a bit. Even saving the Power Masters or Breast Masters, whatever you want to call them. And again, this is an awesome deco. The only thing that's a bit disappointing about this is the price. So I recall paying $180 for Double Evil, and this guy's coming in at a steep $280 at the convention. So this one is going to be way too rich for my blood. And I'm kind of curious what Fans Hobbies Double Evil still sells for these days. Because Double Evil's now selling for $270 on at least TF Source. TF Source always tends to be a bit more expensive, but things have gone up quite significantly. For various economic reasons. I prefer not to get into, but I'm kind of curious here. Let me see if I still have my email from Toy Dojo. Just to make sure that I am remembering that right. I paid, after tax and shipping, I paid $224 for Double Evil. So he was probably in and about. No, they had free shipping. So I misremembered. He wasn't 180. He probably was 180 on like Show Z, and that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, little steep entry point here, but he isn't that much more than what's being charged currently for Double Evil. Still, this one's a bit too rich for my blood. The only one I'm budgeting for is Mega Octane. Unless they come out with something really cool from MMC, I will sell some stuff to make that happen. But this one, amazing homage, but also too, I don't think I have the shelf space for another figure this size just for Skyquake. But still, if you're able to get this one, I'm jealous because it looks awesome. And I'm also excited to see what else is in store for the convention, because MMC's had some surprises lately, and TFCon, the fall conventions always seem to have some sort of surprise. So I'm ready to see what they bring. So, and as Big M says, 10 days till TFCon. I wish I was going. Again, all my money went to Steel City. But I know Patriot Prime's going to be there. My buddy, the Jack Nerd's going to be there. We've got Deluxe there. So, if you are there, go say hi to those guys, because they're amazing people. And, they're awesome to hang out with at the convention. We also got Professor Soundwaves coming in saying, "Evening, guys. Good to see you, my friend." And we've got Winston coming in saying, "What's up, Zero?" And everyone in the chat, I hope you're having a great night, Winston. And Big M saying, I was debating selling all the other Predators, but I may have to change my mind now. And yeah, if you've got those, man, this guy would really complete how that set looks, And yeah, let's not keep you in the loop, because I've got some stuff here. So I will text you with what I come up with. But let's get into some. Let's see. Oh. And Mario, we are actually about to talk about that, because there is some stuff coming up with Hasbro, and it's a kind of, again, we're gonna get the you hate to see it stuff out of the way. Sabertron reported this afternoon, and I have not seen it in person yet. Initially, the retro card back stuff started showing up at Walmart in incorrect price. And I talked about that last week, how Sea Spray and Brawn had been showing up for $29.97 at Walmart. And the website still has them listed for $24, I think $95 or $97. We can check that right now, because, $24.97. But ahead of those new MSRPs that Hasbro was pushing, that were supposed to go into effect in 2026, it appears Walmart, as of today, has already raised their prices, which is strange for Walmart, because normally Walmart will try to be way more competitive when it comes to other retailers, especially as we're getting in before the holidays. This just kind of seems a bit, now maybe that's their plan, to set these prices and then go back and act like they're doing a rollback of sorts. But it's disappointing to see, especially with Target getting really aggressive lately with, a lot of in-store deals. Target's had toy deals like this week. If you go into Target Circle, they have a 25% off one item. But yeah, it's disappointing to see Walmart of all places going in higher. So those new prices were $27.97 for deluxes, $43 for Voyagers, and leaders. Leaders have been $60 for a good period of time. Some places have them for $55. Again, I could talk about this all evening, and I hate beating a dead horse, but you know, despite the economic changes and challenges, you know, be it with tariffs, be it with trade, Hasbro's cut enough corners that I think that they can afford to keep their prices, to be honest with you. You go and look at like what we used to get in you know, 2005, 2007, you know, the amount of gimmicks and plastic and materials and packaging. I think that they're going to need to eat it, especially this week. I've seen a lot of stuff showing up at Ross. The Amazon exclusives have been showing up at Ross. Another crazy one was the Sabine Wren lightsaber, the Force Effects lightsaber, has shown up at Ross for $30. And you know, I understand what the margins are on these figures. It's disappointing that they're pretty tone deaf, and I think this is gonna have a negative impact on the brand. I just think a lot of people are just going to see these prices, myself included, and really cut back. I mean, they are not. I don't think they're in the position to compete with the collectors market that they think they are. And yeah, Trish, they have Ross. The Ross Dress for Less actually has a lot of you know, toy buyouts like Ollie's and TJ Maxx does as well. And it's always random what you'll find, but you'll find stuff for about like a third to a fifth of what they are at normal retail. Sometimes 50% off, oddly. But you know, you'll find a lot of these figures like greatly reduced, and people are finding the 2-pack with I believe it was Breakdown, and I know I saw it on Twitter. The Breakdown and God, what was the Target Master? Or it wasn't the Target. It was it wasn't Quick Switch. It'll come to me. But they found that, and they found the other Mayhem pack there, and they were like $30, and they were originally like $60 on Amazon. So those things are showing up there, and then also people are finding like some of the they found the Soundwave, the G.I. Joe crossover Soundwave there last year for $40, which was originally $90 on Amazon, and people found Triptychon there for what was that, $100, which was again nuts. And yeah, Big M saying got the Batwing there for $60. So yeah, you find a lot of deals there, and I feel like the challenge is like if this stuff goes to retailers and it goes unsold, well, it doesn't really impact Hasbro because again, the retailers are buying it from Hasbro and it's not a commission basis. But what ends up happening is stores like Target and Walmart and Amazon, when they have merchandise that doesn't move, they're less inclined to order more, and it just causes diminishing returns for the brand. And yeah, it's not good. Also talking here about how the Commander class Ultra Magnus, the reissue of that, is coming in at $100. The SDCC set for Nemesis Prime, which they originally said was going to be $75 for. Now I am a Pulse Premium member, but if you were not a Pulse Premium member, it was coming in at $90. So yeah, it's getting a bit hairy with Hasbro on their pricing. Now, again, Walmart has not yet upped their prices on their website. So if you want to get the Retro Card Back Wheelie and Outback, they're still there on the regular deluxe prices. So I will probably have to pre-order both of these here because I definitely want these two. But it just seems really tone deaf, especially seeing like the first Retro Card Back Bumblebee and Gears going on clearance. And I took the dogs to their grooming appointment this past Saturday, and I went to some of my old stomping grounds in Southern Maryland, and I did see where they had clearanced out both of those original retro card back figures. So again, that's on Walmart, but I think that these price increases are going to have a negative impact. And I mean, Nemesis Prime, Armada Nemesis Prime with the air defense team now, there are a lot of rumblings about the air defense team having breakage issues. I've seen people on social media run into that, where I forget which member, I believe, I forget his name, but this dude here is having his hips break. And yeah, that's no good. That is no good. And again, this is the NYCC exclusive, and it is not yet sold out. Which again, for a character like Armada Nemesis Prime, which was the first in canon appearance of Nemesis Prime, for it to be an Armada character with the new face sculpt, with the Minicon team, I think they've priced themselves out of most people wanting to buy it. And it's just crazy to me that, this exclusive is still available. I'm sure it'll get reduced. Pulse does put stuff on sale, but in fact, let's take a look real quick and see like what all they have on sale here. I'm pretty sure that they do have a sale tab here. At least on the phone they do. And I am logged in. So brands, no exclusive, outlet. I guess it's the outlet here. So yeah, a lot of the Marvel stuff, a lot of the Marvel and Star Wars stuff goes to the outlet. But let's see, do they have anything? That's also interesting too. That the Techno Viper and HMS, again, that was a Pulse exclusive. That's down. A 301's not too surprising, but again, we're a couple Transformers here, Strong Arm and Shadow Striker. I thought recently I saw they had the timeline set on sale. This is just their Pulse outlet. But I thought that they had a sale section outside of the outlet. But still, even on their site, stuff does go on clearance. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, this one's interesting too. NYCC Day 3, they revealed they're doing a Skybound Prime. And this is cool. Everybody wanted this. What's interesting is when Robert Kirkman revealed this, he revealed it at the leader price, and on panel he says $59.99 coming fall 2026. So the approximate release date is October 2026. Well, Hasbro goes out and lists a leader figure, and again, this does not come. This is just the Commander class Optimus, no trailer, no effects parts that we know of. No other weapons, just he's got the Megatron arm, Megatron's fusion cannon. This looks great. He's got a new head sculpt. But they're $80 for this. Now, meanwhile, and again, this is the challenge. Like, I understand that there's development that, they have to develop these molds, they have to pay their engineers, they have to pay their artists. But when we're seeing a KO come in, and I understand like a KO is not made to the same standards as a professional figure, right? But when we're seeing a KO come in, and after tariffs and after shipping, it's $40 for this with all the effects parts, with extra pieces, the Starscream head and the turbines, the Megatron arm. Come on. I think whoever is in charge of pricing in Hasbro is very unaware. I think that they just think that whatever's thrown at fans, they're going to pay it. And I think that it's unfortunate. I've said it on the show many times that we have two of the best designers that the brand's ever had, Evan and Mark. And It's just unfortunate that leadership and distribution in Hasbro is absolutely terrible. And those guys are putting out absolute bangers and doing the best they can with their budgets. And meanwhile, we're seeing this, and this is going to be a Pulse exclusive. So it may be a Pulse exclusive. It may be timed around NYCC 2026. Hopefully things stable out and they can bring that back down to $60. But yeah, this is just unfortunate, because I would love to have this, but $80 for just what essentially is a leader class figure, that's a no-go. That's an absolute no-go. And I just see a lot of discourse online where people are like, yeah, I'll just get the KO. I'll just get the KO. And I cannot fault people for thinking that in this economy, to be honest with you. So here's the listing, and yeah, you can see it is $79.99. I'm curious if they'll take it down, given the fact that, again, Kirkman said that, okay, it's up for pre-order, so I am mistaken, but you can pre-order it now, but it won't be out until October 2026. So, and it is a Pulse exclusive, which again is silly considering the fact that the Skybound comics are legitimately one of the hottest comics right now, and that's not hyperbole. Like, Skybound's comics are helping to save the comic book industry. They're getting people into comic shops. There's high demand for them. You would think this is something that they would want to have on shelves. And again, in these renders, you can see the new face that they have on it, the comic accurate face. But you would think that they would want to have this on shelves for that new audience that is getting into Transformers because they've read the comic books. If anybody knows Drunk 3PO, he was a Star Wars YouTuber, and he's turned his channel into a Transformers channel because the Skybound comics impacted him that much. He became such a fan that he completely shifted the trajectory of his YouTube channel into doing these video essays about the Skybound comics and breaking them down. And it just seems foolish to make this a website exclusive. This is something that should be on store shelves that people will see in that Studio Series box and be, hey, that's the Optimus that's the Optimus with the Megatron arm from the comics. And it would be a big impulse buy. And even at that $60 price point, people would see them and be like, yeah, it's a little steep, but that's so badass, I have to have it. And it to just put this behind a website and at an inflated price, it just seems like absolute idiocy to me. And whoever made these decisions to price it at that and then to make it a website exclusive, they are out of their goddamn mind. So yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see a really cool product that makes a lot of sense for getting new people interested in the brand and for them to make these sort of decisions. Meanwhile, we get, they had their display at NYCC. A lot of people are upset about this Timelines pack. I take no issue with it. This kind of samurai themed Prime and Starscream, they just kind of seem to be their own thing. In fact, when we get to the third party stuff, we have one of the samurai themed Beast Wars figures to talk about. I like this Prime. I like the idea of this mechanical ox pulling a cart as the trailer and turning into this samurai motif Optimus. I really like it. It's going to be a deluxe size. I'm sure it's going to be probably way more expensive than it needs to be. On the fence about this one here. But the Starscream too. Starscream here, unfortunately, is using all of the same engineering that the Kingdom Air Razor and Pterosaur and Rise of the Beast area is. It's not it's a very elaborate retool, but it's just reusing that engineering that they've used for like even lately with the Rathalos Prime. So it's unfortunate to see they couldn't just do a brand new tooled engineered Starscream, but hey, at least he has his null where he's in the I guess Eagle or Beast. I also too, I kind of wish they'd given him katanas. I have that Beast Starscream already. The one that I forget what company it was. It was like a one-off done by some company in China that was a completely original mold that envisioned Starscream as a beast, and he came with like beam katanas and all. I wish they would have taken that concept and brought that here rather than just retooling Airazor once more. But it doesn't look bad. That packaging's neat. I feel like a lot of people are going to pass on this because there's no fictional connection to this, like the Hearts of Steel. This is just, hey, look, it's a samurai themed Prime and Starscream. I'm sure they'll probably do Megatron and Bumblebee in a samurai motif as well. But we do get some clear pictures of them. So professional shots. There's Studio Series Wind Charger, which did go up for pre-order on all the, all the big retailers, your Target, Walmart, Amazon. And he does look nice. And these deluxe mini bots are very well done. I'm sure he'll also get a retro card back figure as well. And then also too, we get a good look at Thundercracker here he's going to be the first of the new Seeker mold released under Studio Series. And I think he looks really good. You can see here, they left the tail fins on the legs. You can take those off to give them a cleaner look and store them on the back. You can see that in the box there. But interesting thing about the box is Hasbro forgot who Thundercracker was, because that's definitely Skywarp right there in the upper left of the box. So we've already got a mistake on the box. Not that big of a deal, because Thundercracker wasn't really predominantly in the movie. Other than the scene where he's like, "Brothers, no," when they're about to get chucked out of Astro Train. But this new Seeker mold does look really nice. And they're all supposed to have unique face sculpts. I'm sure Starscream will get the smirk. He's kind of gritting his teeth, which I like. And of course, we've already seen the retro card back Outback here, looking very nice. Just a, repaint, retool of the Brawn mold, which is a very, very good mold. So looking forward to this guy. Granted, just funny. Nobody will ever make him look just like that art. But yeah. Then we get a good look at the Samurai Prime, which again, I think he looks fine. And depending on the price, I will be in the air. And Professor Soundwaves, it looks like he has red feathers in those wings, which I think looks good. Unless you're talking about these, it looks like they just picked out blue on these like fan weapons. I wish that they had just given him I guess his tail fin turns into a blade for whatever reason. But I really wish they had just given him katanas, like dual katanas or something. So there we go with that. And then also Skybound has some previews for Transformers 27. And it looks like we are getting Bulkhead in the Skybound universe, which is really cool. It looks like he's getting a new design as well. So I look forward to seeing what his alt mode is. And I am hopeful that we'll get a new figure for Bulkhead as well. So getting Magnus and Thundercracker in there. I'm sure we'll probably also get Shredhead at some point as well, which would be neat. But yeah, it's really cool to see the Skybound Energon universe taking off. Let's go back to Thundercracker 2. Just take a quick look. So Professor Soundwave said about the red lines on the black wings. I thought there were, but it doesn't look like it there. Let's go back and see if they had anything on, because I know they had him in this display. Did they or did they not? A lot of repeats. Well, let's go. They have them on this display. We'll find it. Let's just go back to their main page here, because I know they had a whole whole display. I guess maybe they didn't get any pictures of Thundercracker there. I mean, outside of the panel pictures, and I could have sworn that he had the tampos there, but yeah, no, and Toy Hacks will be right there to get that paycheck. So yeah, if they do miss that on the final one, there's gonna, and I know Patriot Prime will have that video out pretty quick. Pretty darn quick. So let's catch up on the chat. We have Halius coming in saying, agreed on the bad marketing. They dropped the ball on TF1 as well. Just now getting the MDLX. Yeah, those MDLX Transformers 1 figures are pretty impressive. Especially, they can fit pretty seamlessly in a collection if you're getting the cogless ones as well. I've been tempted to get the Blockies kits or the YOLO Park ones, but yeah, 3 great offerings there, and it's just a shame. It's a shame that movie just didn't take off the way it should have. Professor Soundwaves saying, flood Hasbro with emails about the price swap, complaining in groups, YouTube, and other social media won't do anything. Yeah, that is a good point. A lot of people, I think, are unwilling to express dissatisfaction, and I think not only that, but call the customer service line and tell them you're disappointed with it, and give them that feedback. I know Evan had said to call them in regards to issues with yellowing on figures. I don't think that they're actually taking any action to fix people's figures, but at least just to let them know from a satisfaction standpoint. I mean, squeaky wheel does get the crease every now and then. Yeah, Sean Franklin coming in saying hi. Good to see you, Sean. And Sean also asking, have you met Peter Cullen? And I have not. I will be meeting him in December. So I'll be going up to Steel City Comic-Con, which is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I am getting a photo with him and Frank Welker. And I'm also hoping to get my 40th Optimus Prime sign, the one that came out last year, the G1 in the Toon Deco that they did for the commemorative line. Mario saying that the designer Evan Brooks said on panel at NYCC that the prototype for Commander Class Onslaught will be shown at the MCM London Comic Con, and possibly anything else. When you see this case, I think we will see Onslaught there. I think we'll probably also see maybe Swindle and probably a combined Bruticus like we saw early on for Devastator, where they'll do it with like the gray resin. So we'll get an idea of how that's all going to look. I'm still curious how they're going to do the chest on Bruticus, because that big Decepticon tampo on Blastoff's shuttle mode, I wonder if that actually integrates into the chest. So that'll be interesting to see. Let's see. And Aquateki saying there were some rear shots of Thundercracker that hid the rudders and tail fins. Let's check Sabertron real quick, because I'm sure they probably have their own galleries for NYCC, and I am surprised. I'm surprised that they don't. They have the article about Triptychon though. Well, let's check T-Formers real quick. Actually, you know what? I know someone that was at NYCC. Let's see if he has any pictures. Because if I'm not mistaken, TM Reviews was there. So let's see if he happened to get some pictures. He takes really good photography. So let's see if he happened to get anything while he was there. And he did not get pictures of the back of Thundercracker, but he did get some good shots while he was there. So again, these come courtesy of TM Reviews on his Facebook page. But yeah, he again, you don't see any of the red lines there, or the view from the back. But yeah, it does look pretty good. Actually, no, I think he got these pictures. He definitely got these pictures in TFW. I just was not seeing them there. But good pictures of things that we've already looked at. So still, it'll be interesting to see what happens when that Thundercracker's released. And like I said, I'm sure Toy Hacks is chomping at the bit for that. Now, I don't normally talk about Legends here, but this is pretty cool. So New Age, when New Age releases their figures, they tend to do like all the repaints at once. They don't trickle out the repaints. They let you get whatever version you want. So they are doing their own take on Volcanicus. And what's pretty cool is it's a different take on Volcanicus where they're integrating Scar, which the Hasbro Volcanicus had as an arm. Well, Scar now is the lower torso of theirs. But what's interesting is this Combiner Typhoon, they're doing the comic version, they're doing a G2 version, a toy version, a Shattered Glass version. And each one of them has its own unique flavor. So if you look here at the Shattered Glass version, it kind of carries out that Triptychon kind of color scheme with a very War for Cybertron inspired sword for Volcanicus, a kind of like movie Grimlock style head for the combined mode. And yeah, this is a really neat idea where, you know, again, this character can hold a sword and a shield. He turns to an Ankylosaur, so he is a full uncompromised figure. And that's how he looks all combined up. And again, you get your Shattered Glass Grimlock. And, you know, again, the comic version with that very pearlescent, but like very high contrast deco. I like it. The King Grimlock head for the combined Volcanicus mode. And yeah, I think I like this comic deco one the most out of all of them, to be honest, especially with Slag having that bluish purple head. Here's the toy version with a very G1 kind of Diaclone looking head, which I think is pretty neat, to be honest. It does look, you know, kind of fitting with what Hasbro might have actually made back in the day. And yeah, here's our G2 version of him, which, you know, again, carries over that same sort of style head. Right, those G2, the garish G2 colors. You either love them or you don't. Let's see. Let me pull up this Studio Series Thundercracker real quick. See if I can find the pictures Aquatech he's talking about here, just to see if we're not having a Mandela effect moment with the rear and the stripes here on him. I am doing that's a Bing image search. That's probably why I do use Bing every now and then for the Microsoft points. So Studio Series 86 Thundercracker. Let's see. I'm wondering if we're having like a little bit of a Mandela effect on it, because it's I am looking. I've seen the pictures of the prototype, and I can find those prototype pictures. Let's see. Well, Toys R Us has a gallery. Let me scrub it a little bit, because Russ's videos they're interesting. So let's see here. Let's get this in over here. So let's see if I can get this. So Russ he's showing it on an iPad. And there you can see like where you would store the rear wing sections on the back behind the wings. But even there, I'm not seeing the red. So it does look like they missed the red on those. But yeah, unfortunately, that was all I was able to get pretty quickly off Google Images. We also got more Volcanicus with the heavily stylized Kang Toys version. Now, again, this is one where, again, my good buddy John from Fanboy Studios, the Jack Nerd, he went in on the Predaking, and he's completing that. I think he's pretty happy with it. I've always said that the Kang Toy stuff would be something that if I had infinite space and funds, I'd be in for. And this is a really cool take on Sludge, to be honest. I definitely like how they have the Dino Kibble as kind of like these, like, do what you will if you want them hanging off the sides, if you want them to be like their own kind of like weapons. You know, this sort of posing is pretty cool, to be honest. But it is heavily stylized, and I'm somebody that's like really doing like a G1 kind of cartoon accurate display. But I definitely have appreciation for this. I love the way that these weapons work. I'm sure this is going to combine up into a big sword and blaster. The Brontosaurus mode looks amazing here. And there you can see how he turns into a shin. I guess that's, you know, and you get a look at their swoop and snarl as well. So again, very specific type of collectors for these, but I definitely appreciate what they're doing, but not in my wheelhouse. DNA is teasing yet another kit, and this time it looks like they're probably going to be redoing their armor kit for the recently released Nemesis Armada animated Prime that just came out. So I'm sure by next week we'll see what's actually behind the silhouette and what unique things they do with it, as I don't think the others had an individual shoulder cannon. So it'd be cool to see what they do for that Jetwing design. And going back to everything with the samurai motif, Iron Factory is doing a samurai motif Beast Wars Megatron. I like the concept of this, but he looks even more like Samurai Barney here. Like, I really do like the concept, but just there's you know, it really looks like Barney went to feudal Japan. And I know that, like, you know, people have called Beast Wars Megatron Barney before, but I don't know what it is about this deco and this motif that just really is like feudal Japan Barney. It's certainly neat, and I know that there's a whole niche of collectors that are into this, but I'm not one of them. Granted, I do think him facing off against the Samurai Primal is neat, but you know, it's as MGO would say, it's a thing. Now, going back to Skybound, this seller, Sugar Girl 0309, is selling an upgrade kit for Studio Series 86 Megatron over on eBay, and this is a conversion over to the Skybound style Megatron. So he gets the Skybound style head sculpt, the Skybound style fusion cannon, and yeah, it looks like he's got an alternative face as well, and it also integrates into the tank mode, which again, he is a tank in Skybound. So if you wanted to convert your Megatron over to Skybound Megatron, you can look out for this kit. I'm sure there will be more. This is a 3D printed kit, but it looks like it's also painted as well. So it's got some finishing to it, but I'm sure there will be studios like Akai and what's the one that works with the Toy Hacks Armory? I believe it starts with an M, but I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot of Skybound conversion kits coming up in the very near future. And lastly, courtesy of TM Reviews, we get a comparison between the DX9 Detective and the Takara Tomy Prowl Masterpiece Prowl, just kind of showing how these look. Now, I believe TM Reviews made these mock-ups himself, and the original Prowl is a pretty old masterpiece, to be honest. I want to say, I mean, I bought mine from Toys R Us. That should tell you how long ago that was. Non-F, thank you, Big M. Non-F does injection molded parts, and I'm sure they're going to be doing a lot of Skybound stuff. But this again, I said last week I do have some gripes with the DX9. I'm glad to see DX9 back. I think they're a great company. But I don't think for me this is going to warrant replacing the official for kind of minimal gains. I think like with the DX9, I'm not a big fan of these clips you can see here for the clear parts, the toes, the big hands. I think that my MP Plus Prowl is just gonna stay as my Prowl on the shelf, because again, I'm really not in the business of just replacing figures for small gains. I will say the head sculpt on this Prowl is miles better, as is the bonnet and the way that comes together. I love the fact that the bonnet actually collapses. You can see here how it's designed, where it, in car mode it expands, in chest mode it collapses. So I think that's pretty well done. But yeah, there we go. That's our third party roundup. Let's catch up with chat before we close out for the evening. So Aquateki saying that the comic version was the best color scheme so far. Yeah, for that Volcanicus set, yeah, I definitely agree. I think that was, especially that King Grimlock head for the combined mode, is pretty awesome. Sean Franklin saying, do you think Peter Cullen coming back to Transformers, or do you think Peter Cullen is coming back to Transformers, the Michael Bay movies? I definitely think that we're going to get Peter Cullen. We're going to get a revival, because if they can make this movie in time, it'll come out in 2027, and that'll be 20 years since the first Michael Bay Transformers movie. And I'm not a big Bay fan when it comes to the movies. I've come to appreciate the designs, especially through unique toys, making them, actually work. But I think that they'll get Megan Fox back. I think they'll get Shia LaBeouf back. I think that Josh Duhamel and Tyrese Gibson have said that they're interested. What's Anthony Anderson up to these days? What's John Voight up to these days? I think that they'll do a revival, and they'll bring that initial cast back, along with Peter Cullen. Probably Mark Ryan will be back. I think that they probably get Frank Welker over Hugo Weaving, though. Maybe they'll find a way to resurrect Starscream and bring Charlie Adler back. But, I think it's going to happen. I think that Hasbro needs a win with media, and I think that they are not doing a good job marketing the brand. I didn't talk about it early on. There's new episodes of Cyberworld. I haven't caught up on them, but I don't really see much momentum behind Cyberworld. They need a big W to make people interested in the brand again. And Skybound's there, but they're kind of just, again, they're keeping Skybound on the back burner. It almost feels like it's a do-over of the Marvel Comics days, when Marvel had the Transformers comics. They were a big deal, and people loved those comics, and they had a huge following, especially in Europe. And I mean, you can go and get those compendiums now, and they're huge, and they're great reads. They hold up exceptionally well. But it just kind of feels like with Skybound, they don't want to cash in on those fans that are there. They don't want to get them interested in like Transformers is a product first, and the media comes second. There used to be a lot more synergy to it, but it just kind of feels like they don't want to have that synergy between the toy lines and the product. And it's unfortunate to see something like, again, like going back to that Prime. If that thing showed up in comic shops and somebody's going there to buy their Skybound comics, their Energon Universe comics, and they see the Skybound Prime on the shelf, that's an impulse buy for them. That could be their gateway into being a fan. A kid reading it that's like, oh yeah, I've heard good things about this comic. They're going to their comic shop. They're picking this up. Oh, this is a cool take on Transformers. I never knew G1 was like this, because it's a reimagining of G1. That could be their gateway into it. They need to adapt that Skybound comic into a TV series like they did Invincible. And I feel like if they got it on Prime Video and actually didn't half-ass it, they could have something really, really special. But, yeah, I do think that with with this Transformers revive, if it is, and again, I'm only speculating. We just know Michael Bay is like 90% there coming back. And I don't think that he takes too long making movies. One of my best friends actually worked on Dark of the Moon, and it was a boom, boom, boom sort of thing. I think he's I'm not praising him as a filmmaker, but I think he's a very efficient filmmaker. We'll say that. And I think he's smart enough to know, like, we get this out, 20-year anniversary of the first movie. I think that they could get a lot of momentum there. But again, that's just all me speculating. Again, it would just make a lot of sense, especially since Shia and Megan don't have the star power they used to have. And yeah, as Dick's reactions is saying here, they could capture that energy behind the first movie. It could be back. And I know a lot of younger people that, like, that was their entry point into the franchise. And I really wish I had the hindsight to have, like, captured, like, just video recorded what it was like when that movie was about to come out. Like, I was unsure about it. I didn't know how I felt about the designs. I definitely didn't like the Bumblebee design, but I'll tell you, like, it was a magical time when you'd go down, like, the toy aisle and you would see, like, the huge Transformers displays. It had the end cap. They had a whole aisle. They had standees. It was just, the marketing blitz for that movie was incredible. So I don't know. It's just like, it was a different time. It was definitely a different time, but it definitely made the brand feel like something special again for what it was worth. Like, I walked out of that movie not liking it, but I talked to a guy like Treebot. I don't know if you guys know Treebot, awesome dude. But I'm in a chat with him and Patriot Prime and a bunch of other, the Con Bros chat. Bert the Stormtrooper's in there, and Rana's Primal's in there. I'm name dropping, but going in and hearing the perspective of a younger guy, like being Treebot, like just getting his perspective, like that was his G1. Armada was like a lot of people's G1 as well, and yeah, just I'd like to see that come back for the brand, even if I have to suffer through a Michael Bay movie. I want people to be interested. I want there to be that synergy, because again, like, I can talk as much shit about the Michael Bay movie as I want, but I'll tell you, if it weren't for the Michael Bay movie, we'd never gotten Transformers Prime, and Transformers Prime is one of my favorite series of all time, and I still love that series. So there were good things that happened. I mean, animated came out of the that was the, and animated came out because of the 2007 movie. So yeah, Aquatech right. 2007 was a fun time. Saying the purple wasn't right on the Megatron. I know, it was very, very interesting. We do need that laser beak for Eyes kit. That's why I'm saying you're going to see tons and tons of Skybound conversion kits coming up, be it from Non-F, be it from Makai, be it from DNA. I think that's going to be the next big thing, because probably what's going to happen is Hasbro won't be making the Skybound stuff. And yeah, because they won't be making the Skybound stuff, the people are just going to double dip and say, oh, I'm going to build my Skybound shelf. I'm sure we'll probably see like a conversion kit for, God, what was the black redeco of Skids? But I'm sure that they'll come out with a kit to turn that or the DK guard into your shred head. So I just think it's a missed opportunity for them to not go in on a Studio Series Skybound line in brick and mortar as soon as possible. Just a lot of money on the table, tons of money on the table. Let's see here. And yeah, Professor Soundwaves is right. Without the movies, there would be no War for Cybertron toys. And I really don't think we would have gotten the aligned continuity out of that. The thing is, like, a lot of the aligned continuity stuff was kind of an answer to, they wanted that tone of the movies, but they wanted to be a lot more serious. They wanted to build a whole new continuity between comics, games, and Transformers Prime. and yeah, they got halfway there. they really did, but they did abandon. I think Rise of the Dark Spark. I think a lot of that was part of it, and I think also too when they went from Transformers Prime to Robots in Disguise and just felt so disconnected. I think that was part of it too. Somebody's got to do like a whole post-mortem on that one day. We got Boss Hog hopping in. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a good night. And we got Effortlessly Random coming in saying, I didn't get the Bay Devastator, but I did get the Studio Series 86 Devastator. The Bay Devastator is an interesting one. I recently put mine back out on the shelf, and I had fun messing with it, but it has not aged the best. But that 86 Devastator, the juice is worth the squeeze. Like when you get them combined, I think it's the best combined. Like the individual parts are kind of weak. The construction vehicle modes are fine. The robot modes are mostly miss, but some hits. But yeah, when you combine that Devastator up, it's money in the bank. It is I think out of all of the Devastators I've messed with, it's probably my favorite because he feels solid combined. He feels posable combined. Save for Bone Crusher as an arm, you got to do like a fix on it. You got to take it apart and put future floor polish or Kiki on it. But it's a great Devastator. So hopefully you're enjoying yours. And Aquateki saying that Hasbro is leaving money on the table, which I definitely agree with. Well, folks, we've about hit the hour mark. So again, I want to thank everybody who popped into the live chat tonight. Thank you guys so much. Again, I always say it, I'm beating a dead horse on this one. I would not be able to do the show if not for people tuning in every week. So thank you so much. If you like what I did tonight, please leave a like on the video. I do appreciate it. Consider hyping up the video. If you're not already subscribed and you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell. As I mentioned, I'll be going live with Lance on Saturday. We're just going to be doing a hangout. We're going to be doing kind of an unstructured hangout, talking about repaints we want to see, but really just kind of shooting the shit and having a good time. Lance is a very, very good friend of mine going all the way back to the early 2000s. So I was just like being able to hang out with him online. I'm sure he's going to have some interesting stories because he just came across an estate that had a whole bunch of G1 and G1 to Armada stuff. So I'm sure he's going to have some stories about all of that. And yeah, if you are watching me on the replay, consider dropping a comment. Let me know if there's anything I showed off tonight that you're interested in getting, how you're feeling about those price hikes, how you felt about NYCC and some of the reveals, and if there's anything you're excited about with TFCon Chicago, especially seeing that new Chosen Prime and Fans Hobby collaboration. So that's going to do it for tonight's episode. I hope everybody has a great week ahead of them, and I will see you all back here Saturday evening, so be on the lookout for that show to get scheduled. But until then, have a great rest of your week, and Zero out.